Imagine a world filled with diverse life forms, then a huge disaster happened on Earth. Now, this is not ordinary catastrophe. It was unique. It stands as the greatest extinction event our planet has ever witnessed. Scientists call this the Siberian Triassic extinction event. Many also know it by a starker name. The great dying life across the globe was pushed to the very brink of annihilation. The once bustling oceans and vibrant continents fell eerily silent. The intricate web of life woven over eons was catastrophically torn apart. It was a planetary crisis of unimaginable scale, resetting Earth's biological clock. What could unleash such widespread, devastating death? Scientists point to one primary culprit: massive volcanic eruptions. These cataclysmic eruptions occurred in an area known today as Siberia for thousands of years. They relentlessly spewed molten lava and toxic gases. The atmosphere became choked with poisonous fumes and thick ash. Earth's oceans gradually turned acidic, harming marine life profoundly global. Temperatures first soared to extreme highs, then shockingly plummeted. Our planet was thrown into a state of utter environmental chaos. The air grew unbreathable for many, and waters became lethal. Earth transformed into a hostile, barren shadow of its former vibrant self. The statistics of this die-off are truly mind-boggling and grim. An estimated 96% of all marine species vanished forever. Around 70% of terrestrial vertebrate species also disappeared completely. Even insects, usually resilient, suffered enormous losses during this crisis. This was a rare event in the long history of life on Earth. The ancient trilobites, long-standing rulers of the prehistoric seas, were gone. Giant predatory gorgonopsians, the apex land carnivores of their time, vanished. Lush forests composed of giant tree ferns and ancient club mosses withered away. The world became a vast graveyard, a stark monument to nature's fury. Life itself was pushed to the very precipice of total annihilation. After the volcanic fires finally cooled and the thick dust settled, Earth was quiet. It was an eerie, unsettling silence that blanketed the entire planet. The complex, interconnected ecosystems built over millions of years were utterly destroyed. Countless ecological roles once filled by diverse creatures were suddenly vacant. Who would now assume the position of the top predator in this new world? Which creatures would browse upon the sparse, recovering vegetation? The planet resembled an empty stage, awaiting the arrival of new actors. However, the process of recovery would be extraordinarily slow and arduous. The great dying left indelible scars upon the face of the Earth. It would take many millions of years for life to truly rebound from this. Music. The early Triassic period slowly dawned upon a severely wounded planet. The global climate was predominantly hot, and conditions were extremely arid. Vast, sprawling deserts expanded across much of the supercontinent called Panga. The atmosphere still bore the chemical signature of the recent global disaster. Oxygen levels in the air were noticeably low for many forms of life. Conversely, the levels of carbon dioxide remained alarmingly high, yet life in its truly incredible and enduring resilience somehow clung on small, hardy, and adaptable creatures, emerged cautiously from their hiding places. These were the ultimate survivors, The brave pioneers of a strange new age, they were not the mighty beasts of the Parian, but humble inheritors among these few survivors. One particular group became remarkably common. This was an unassuming animal known to paleontologists as Listaurus. Listaurus was a herbivore, roughly the size of a modern pig. It possessed a turt-like beak and two distinctive small tusks for digging before the Great Extinction event. It was just one animal among many others after the catastrophe. However, its fossils are found nearly everywhere worldwide. This global distribution suggests it was an adaptable, generalist creature. It could survive in conditions where many other species simply could not. Listaurus became an iconic symbol of this strange, greatly depopulated world. These disaster taxa were the very first to reclaim the barren lands. The recovery of global ecosystems was a painstakingly slow and gradual process. The once vibrant and widespread forests of the Parian period were entirely gone for many millions of years following the extinction. There were no coal swamps. This notable absence in the geological record is known as the coal gap. It clearly indicates that large, dense forests were absent from the landscape. Plant life primarily consisted of hardy, low-growing ferns and resilient seed ferns. Animal communities remained simple, lacking the complexity of earlier times. The intricate food webs, the dance of predator and prey took time to reestablish life, was fundamentally in survival mode, not yet prepared to truly flourish. The planet itself was healing from its wounds ever so slowly. The widespread devastation caused by the Great Dying created a unique situation. Countless ecological niches or roles in the environment were now completely empty. Imagine a bustling city where all the jobs are suddenly and unexpectedly open. This was the state of the Earth during the early Triassic period. The diverse roles once played by the myriad Parian creatures were up for grabs. This profound emptiness presented a significant challenge to the survivors. But at the same time, it was also an immense and unprecedented opportunity. It paved the way for entirely new groups of animals to evolve. They could experiment with new forms, adapt to new conditions, and fill vacant roles. The stage was slowly being set for the next great chapter in life's epic story. After the mass extinction, a remarkable group emerged, the phytosaurs, ruling reptiles. Their upright posture, powerful limbs, and efficient lungs gave them an edge in the harsh Triassic world. Phytosaurs would give rise to crocodiles, birds, and soon the very first dinosaurs. The stage was set for the dawn of the dinosaurs and a new age of life on Earth. Music, the Triassic period began on a world transformed. Earth's landmasses were fused into the supercontinent Panga, creating vast, arid deserts and extreme climates. Life, both on land and in the ocean, struggled to recover from the Parian extinction, yet from devastation. New plants and animals emerged, setting the stage for the rise of the Mesozoic world. The recovery of plant life after the Great Dying was a profoundly slow affair. The lush, diverse forests of the Parian period had been almost entirely wiped out for millions of years. Into the early Triassic, large forests were notably absent. Geologists refer to this period as the coal gap in the fossil record. Coal forms from accumulated plant matter in swampy forests. So its absence is telling. It signifies a world where large woody plants were exceedingly rare. Instead, the dominant flora consisted of smaller, more resilient plant types. Hardy ferns, versatile seed ferns, and early conifers began to colonize the land. These plants were adapted to survive in the arid, harsh Triassic conditions. They formed the base of the slowly recovering terrestrial food webs. Animal communities also took a very long time to regain their former complexity. The intricate connections between predator and prey needed to be reestablished. In the early Triassic, food webs were relatively simple and somewhat fragile. Listaurus, the pig-sized herbivore, continued to be widespread for a time. Other synapsids, the group that includes mammal ancestors, also persisted. Creatures called cynodonts, some small and possibly furry, skewered through the undergrowth. These cynodonts displayed increasingly mammal-like features, a hint of future diversity. Amphibians, too, found ways to survive, especially in the few wetter regions. Large, crocodile-like amphibians called teen spondles hunted in rivers and lakes. But the overall diversity of land vertebrates remained low for millions of years. The recovery was not uniform across the globe. It happened in fits and starts. Some regions might have seen faster recovery due to local conditions. Areas with more available water, like river valleys, likely supported more life. But vast swaths of Panga remained desolate. Desert for a very long time. The process was like a slow healing of a planetary wound, inch by painful inch. New species evolved, tested their adaptations, and either thrived or vanished. This period was a critical test of life's ability to bounce back from catastrophe. The empty ecological niches left by the Barren extinction offered opportunities, but filling these roles required new evolutionary solutions and adaptations. The world was a quieter, less vibrant place than it had been before gradually. As the Middle Triassic approached, signs of richer ecosystems began to appear. New types of plants, including cycads and ginkgos, started to spread. These provided new food sources and habitats for evolving animal life. Insect populations, which had also suffered greatly, began to diversify again. This, in turn, supported a growing number of insectivorous animals. The oceans, too, started to show increased biodiversity. New forms of ammonites coiled. Shelled marine creatures became common early. Ichthyosaurs, reptile pioneers returning to the sea, hunted fish, and squid life was slowly but surely weaving a more complex tapestry across the planet. The foundations for the truly transformative age of reptiles were being music laid as the Triassic world slowly healed. One particular group of reptiles flourished. These were the aerosaurs, whose name fittingly means ruling reptiles. This diverse group included the ancestors of crocodiles, pterosaurs, and dinosaurs. They possessed several key evolutionary advantages that helped them thrive. Many aerosaurs developed a more upright stance compared to other reptiles. Their legs were positioned more directly beneath their bodies, not sprawling outwards. This posture allowed for more efficient movement and greater agility on land. It was a crucial adaptation for both hunting prey and evading predators. Aerosaurs also had advanced respiratory systems better suited to the low oxygen levels. Their ability to conserve water was another vital trait in the arid Triassic climate. In the early and middle Triassic, aerosaurs were not the only contenders. They shared the world with the surviving synapsids, including the cynodons. For a time, it was an open competition for dominance on land. However, the aerosaurs gradually began to out-compete. their rivals. Their superior adaptations to the harsh Triassic environment gave them an edge. They diversified into a remarkable array of forms, filling various ecological roles. Some became large, formidable predators, occupying the top of the food chain. Creatures like Erythroscus, with its massive skull, were fearsome hunters. Others, known as Rauisuchians, were also apex predators, sleek and powerful. These early aerosaurs were a testament to evolutionary innovation. In challenging times, other aerosaur lineages explored different ways of life with great success. The attosaurs, for example, evolved into heavily armored herbivores. Their bodies were covered in bony plates, providing excellent protection. They browsed on the tough Triassic vegetation, using pig-like snouts to dig for roots. Another successful group was the phytosaurs, which were remarkably crocodile-like. They were semi-aquatic predators, thriving in rivers and lakes across Panga. Phytosaurs had long snouts filled with sharp teeth, perfect for catching fish. Their nostrils were curiously positioned near their eyes in adaptation for lurking. This burst of aerosaur diversity showcased their adaptability and evolutionary potential. They were rapidly becoming the dominant terrestrial vertebrates on the planet. From this dynamic and expanding group of aerosaurs, a new lineage began to emerge. These were the dinosauriforms, creatures that were very closely related to true dinosaurs. Dinosauriforms shared many characteristics with the earliest dinosaurs. They were often small, agile, and bipedal, walking on their two hind legs. This freed their forelimbs for grasping prey or other specialized functions. They represented a crucial evolutionary step towards the creatures we call dinosaurs. The aerosaurs had successfully navigated the challenges of the recovering Triassic world. They had risen to prominence, diversifying and spreading across Panga. Now, within their ranks, the stage was perfectly set for the next evolutionary marvel. The dawn of the dinosaurs themselves was drawing ever closer. Around 240 to 230 million years ago, during the middle to late Triassic, true dinosaurs finally arrived. They emerged from their dinosaur reform ancestors, taking their first steps on Earth. These pioneering dinosaurs were not the colossal beasts of later periods. Instead, they were generally small, lightweight, and agile animals. Their initial appearance was relatively modest, not immediately world-altering. They were just one group among many diverse reptiles and other creatures. However, they possessed a unique combination of features that held great promise. These features would eventually allow their descendants to dominate the planet. The Triassic period was the cradle of dinosaur evolution, their starting point. Their journey from these humble beginnings would be long and extraordinary. Among the very earliest known dinosaurs are Eoraptor and Herrerasaurus. Fossils of these groundbreaking creatures have been found in South America. Specifically, they were unearthed in the Icigualasto Formation in Argentina. This region provides a remarkable window into life during the late Triassic. A raptor, whose name means dawn plunderer, was a small bipedal carnivore. It was likely a fast runner, chasing small animals and insects. Herrerasaurus was somewhat larger and more powerfully built than it was, also a bipedal predator, equipped with sharp teeth and grasping hands. These early dinosaurs were nimble hunters, adapted to the Triassic landscapes. They represent some of the first members of the dinosaur family tree. These first dinosaurs were not, yet the rulers of their ecosystems. They lived alongside a variety of other aerosaurs, including large rhoasuchians. They also shared their world with cynodons and other surviving synapsids. The environment was still very competitive, with many creatures vying for resources. Early dinosaurs like Earaptor were likely not at the top of the food chain. They were part of a complex web of life. Finding their niche, their small size and agility, might have been advantages in this competitive world. They could perhaps hunt prey that larger predators ignored or avoid them more easily. The story of early dinosaur evolution is one of a gradual establishment. They were laying the foundations for their future enduring reign. The discovery of these early dinosaurs has been crucial for understanding their origins. Paleontologists carefully study their skeletons to learn about their biology. Features of their hip sockets, leg bones, and ankle joints distinguish them. These anatomical details show their relationship to other aerosaurs. They also highlight the unique adaptations that define dinosaurs as a group. For instance, the open hip socket allowed for a fully upright, efficient gait. This was a key characteristic that contributed to their later success. The first dinosaurs were pioneers, testing new ways of moving and living. Their emergence marked the true beginning of the age of dinosaurs. A new chapter in Earth's history was just starting to be written in the Triassic. Small, early dinosaurs developed key innovations: upright posture, lightweight bones, and bipedal movement. These traits made them agile, efficient, and ready to diversify their hip structure, let them move faster and farther than other reptiles. Hollow bones kept them light and quick. Theropods became specialized hunters, while sauropodomorphs grew larger. These Triassic innovations set the stage for dinosaur dominance in the Jurassic music. As the Triassic period ended, Earth faced a dramatic extinction event, reshaping life forever volcanic. Eruptions triggered chaos, wiping out many species and clearing the way for new rulers. Dinosaurs survived, seizing empty niches and rising to dominance in the Jurassic. The Jurassic became their golden age, a new world ruled by giants. During the Jurassic period, Earth was transformed as the supercontinent. Pangaea split apart. Powerful tectonic forces created new continents, oceans, and climates. Pangaea divided into Laurasia and Gondwana, shaping the world. We know today wetter, warmer climates brought lush vegetation and new habitats. Dinosaurs thrived, evolving into giants. In these dynamic, ever-changing landscapes, the Jurassic was truly the age of giants, shaped by Earth's restless geology. The Jurassic period is famous for its colossal sauropods, long-necked planting giants that dominated the landscape. Sauropods were the largest animals ever to walk the Earth. With unique bodies and immense size, their long necks let them reach treetops, feeding on foliage. Other creatures couldn't access the Jurassic. Was the golden age of these magnificent titans, shaping their world and leaving a lasting music legacy. In the Jurassic, colossal sauropods roamed the forests, while giant theropods evolved as their fearsome predators. These apex hunters, like Allosaurus and Ceratosaurus, were armed with sharp teeth, powerful jaws, and deadly claws. An evolutionary arms race drove both predator and prey to new extremes. This struggle for survival defined the Jurassic world, shaping its incredible diversity. While giant sauropods and fierce theropods ruled the land, Jurassic ecosystems teemed with diverse life. Stegosaurus and agile ornithopods thrived among the giants above pterosaurs. soared masters of the Jurassic skies and the seas, ichthyosaurs and plesiosaurs hunted fish and squid. Meanwhile, small mammals skewered in the shadows quietly. Music evolving during the Jurassic. The breakup of Panga split the world into Laurasia and Gondwana, isolating dinosaur populations. This isolation drove evolution, leading to unique dinosaur species on each continent. Laurasia and Gondwana developed distinct dinosaur faunas. Sauropods and theropods diversified differently in each region. The Jurassic set the stage for the explosion of dinosaur diversity that followed. The world was ready for the spectacular Cretaceous chapter of dinosaur evolution. Music. The age of dinosaurs conjures images of colossal creatures, but the Mesozoic was far from empty. Dinosaurs shared their world with pterosaurs, marine reptiles, early mammals, insects, and evolving plants. This vibrant era was a dynamic web of life, full of competition, cooperation, and constant change. The story of dinosaurs is inseparable from the rich, ever-changing ecosystems that surrounded them while dinosaurs ruled the land. Pterosaurs conquered the skies. These remarkable reptiles were the first vertebrates to achieve powered flight long before birds ranging from sparrow size to giants. Like Quetzalcoatlus, pterosaurs thrived for over 150 million years. Their reign ended as birds rose, but their legacy as the original masters of the air endures. Music. While dinosaurs thundered across the land, early mammals quietly survived in their shadows, small, shrew-like, and often nocturnal. They avoided confrontation and found safety in hidden places. Their keen senses, warm-bloodedness, and agility helped them adapt when dinosaurs vanished. Mammals were ready, having spent millions of years evolving in the gaps, prepared to thrive in a new world, while dinosaurs ruled the land. The Mesozoic seas belonged to powerful marine reptiles, ichthyosaurs, plesiosaurs, pliosaurs, and later mosasaurs. These predators evolved from land ancestors, adapting with streamlined bodies and paddle-like limbs. They dominated ocean food webs, competing and hunting in a dynamic, dangerous world. Their reign ended with the mass extinction, but their fossils remind us of a time when reptiles ruled. The music wave's recent discoveries have transformed our view of dinosaurs. Many, especially theropods, were covered in feathers. Some simple, some vibrant and complex fossils from China show species like Sinosauropteryx and Microaptor with clear feather impressions. These findings reveal dinosaurs as dynamic, bird-like, and highly adaptable creatures. Their adaptability helped them thrive in a changing world, shaping the prehistoric Earth. The Cretaceous period marked the zenith of dinosaur diversity and dominance. Dinosaurs of all shapes and sizes thrived across every continent, from the smallest feathered hunters to the largest land animals ever. Their reign shaped the world, but even this glorious era was destined to end their legacy. However, lives on. Music. The Cretaceous world teemed with dinosaurs, masters of every continent and habitat. Their reign was vibrant and unchallenged, a testament to their adaptability and diversity. Yet beneath this thriving world, Earth's immense forces stirred suddenly. A colossal asteroid approached, setting the stage for a dramatic, fiery end to their era and rewriting the story of life on our planet forever. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck near the Yucatan Peninsula, unleashing energy greater than all atomic bombs. Combined, the sky fell, fire and darkness swept the world, and global ecosystems collapsed. Dinosaurs, once rulers of Earth, vanished in this cataclysm. Yet some small mammals, birds, and reptiles survived, shaping the future of life. The Cape Extinction reminds us even the mightiest can fall to sudden catastrophe. The story of dinosaurs didn't end with extinction birds. Their living descendants still soar above us, reminders that dinosaurs walk or rather fly among us. Today, their fossils reveal Earth's deep past, fueling science and imagination. Dinosaurs inspire awe, wonder, and curiosity. In every generation, their legacy endures, reminding us that every ending can spark a new beginning. Imagine a world utterly unlike our own, a world that existed for an almost incomprehensible stretch of time. This was the Mesozoic era. It spanned an astonishing 186 million years, an age so vast it dwarfs human history. Our entire existence is but a fleeting moment compared to this epic. The Earth itself was a different place. Then continents drifted, oceans shifted, and the very air held a different quality. We journey back to this lost epic. The planet during the Mesozoic was a realm of dramatic transformation. Land masses once clumped together in the supercontinent. Panga began to break apart. New oceans were born, carving out coastlines we might barely recognize today. Climates were generally warmer than now, often humid and tropical, across vast stretches. There were no polar ice caps for much of this time. Lush vegetation thrived from giant ferns to towering conifers. This ancient Earth was a canvas for life to paint upon. On a truly grand scale upon this ancient stage, strode the dinosaurs for millions upon millions of years. They were the undisputed rulers of this planet. They were not the sluggish, dim-witted creatures of early imagination. Instead, they were a vibrant, diverse, and incredibly successful group of animals. They conquered every continent, adapted to countless environments, from the smallest bird-like creatures to the largest land animals ever to walk the earth. Their reign was long and absolute, a testament to their evolutionary progress. So let us embark on an extraordinary journey, a journey back through the mists of deep time. We will witness this world, a world teeming with these magnificent creatures. We will explore their daily lives, their struggles, their triumphs. We seek to understand what it was truly like when dinosaurs walked the earth before the silence fell, before their world vanished. This is their story, from their humble beginnings to their spectacular reign, and finally to their dramatic end. Music. Our journey begins in the Triassic period. Over 250 million years ago, life on Earth was recovering from a devastating mass extinction. This event had wiped out most species on the planet, but from the ashes of this catastrophe, new forms of life began to emerge. Among them were the very first dinosaurs. They were not yet the titans we often imagine. Instead, they were relatively small, often bipedal creatures. They walked in a world shared with many other strange reptiles. These early dinosaurs, like Eoraptor or Herreraurus, were nimble and agile. Some were swift hunters, perhaps preying on smaller reptiles and insects. Others may have been omnivores adapting to a varied diet. They possessed key features that would define their descendants: an upright stance with legs directly beneath their bodies gave them greater mobility. This was a crucial advantage over sprawling reptiles. They were pioneers, stepping onto an evolutionary path that would lead to greatness. Their world was drier than later periods. Gradually, almost imperceptibly, the dinosaurs began to assert their dominance. The Triassic world was competitive, filled with other reptilian groups. There were the crocodile-like phytosaurs and the heavily armored etosaurs. But the dinosaurs possessed an inherent adaptability. They evolved, diversified, and slowly outcompeted many of their rivals. Their unique hip structure allowed for more efficient movement. Their respiratory systems, perhaps bird-like, gave them greater stamina. These subtle advantages accumulated over millennia. The close of the Triassic saw another extinction event. This event further cleared the stage. Many of the dinosaurs, chief competitors, vanished from the Earth. This opened up ecological niches, vast opportunities for the survivors. The dinosaurs, resilient and adaptable, seized this chance. They were poised on the brink of an evolutionary explosion. The world was changing, and they were ready to change with it. The age of giants was about to dawn, heralding a new chapter for life on Earth. Music. We now enter the Jurassic period, a name synonymous with dinosaurs. This was a time when these creatures truly came into their own. The Earth's climate grew warmer and wetter. Vast inland seas formed and lush. Vegetation spread across the continents. Conifer forests, cycads, and ferns carpeted the land. This rich environment provided ample resources. It fueled an astonishing burst of dinosaur evolution. The small forms of the Triassic gave way to true giants, creatures of colossal scale. The diversity of Jurassic dinosaurs was simply breathtaking. Imagine long-necked sauropods like Diplodocus and Brachiosaurus. These were the largest land animals ever to live. Their immense bodies moved slowly, browsing on the tallest trees. There were the plated Stegosaurus with their distinctive back plates and thigh geysers. Agile, two-legged ornithopods munched on lower-lying plants. And in the shadows, predatory theropods like Allosaurus hunted. Each creature was uniquely adapted to its role in this vibrant ecosystem. These magnificent animals inhabited a world of verdant splendor, great forests akin to modern-day jungles, but without flowering plants stretched for miles. Vast floodplains provided fertile grounds for plant life. Rivers snaked across the landscapes, quenching the thirst of these enormous beasts. The air would have hummed with the sounds of insects and perhaps the calls of these varied dinosaurs. It was a complex web of life with intricate relationships between predator and prey plant and herbivore, a truly dynamic and thriving world. It is vital to remember, this was not a static world. It was a world constantly in flux, the supercontinent. Panga continued its slow breakup. This separation created new coastlines and influenced weather patterns. Different dinosaur species evolved in different regions, leading to even greater variety. The Jurassic was not just a time of giants. It was a time of incredible biological innovation. Dinosaurs were exploring countless evolutionary pathways, resulting in the spectacular array of forms we find in the fossil record. Our journey now takes us into the Cretaceous period. This was the final and longest chapter of the Mesozoic era. It lasted for some 79 million years. The world continued to change. Continents drifted further apart, approaching their modern-day positions. Sea levels were generally higher, creating vast, shallow seas across continental interiors. A significant evolutionary innovation appeared during this time: flowering plants. These new plants began to transform landscapes, offering new food sources. Dinosaurs thrived in this evolving world. The Cretaceous saw the evolution of some of the most iconic dinosaurs. Tyrannosaurus rex, the fearsome apex predator, stalked North America. Herds of horn, Triceratops, browsed on low-growing vegetation. Duck-billed had hadrosaurs, with their elaborate crests. Crests were abundant armored ankylosaurs, like walking tanks, roamed the land and the skies. Pterosaurs, some as large as small airplanes, soared. The diversity was immense, with dinosaurs occupying nearly every conceivable terrestrial niche, showcasing their adaptive success. Dinosaurs continued their global dominance. They were found on every continent from the humid tropics to cooler, higher latitudes. Fossil evidence reveals dinosaurs even lived in polar regions. These areas experienced months of darkness, yet certain species adapted to these challenging conditions. This demonstrates their remarkable resilience and versatility. They were not confined to one type of environment. Instead, they conquered a vast range of habitats. Their reign seemed unshakable, their future secure, yet beneath this vibrant tapestry of life. Subtle changes were occurring. The Earth is a dynamic planet, and forces were at play that would eventually lead to a dramatic climax. Volcanic activity was increasing in some parts of the world. Global temperatures and sea levels fluctuated. These were perhaps early warning signs, hints of an instability building over millions of years. The Cretaceous world, for all its splendor, was unknowingly drifting towards a catastrophic event, an event that would forever change the course of life on Earth. The first hint of dawn touches the ancient world. Pale light spills over vast fern prairies and dense conifer forests. Mist clings to valleys. The air cool and still. Soon giants stir ankylosaurus, ornithopods, while smaller creatures greet the day the sun rises, revealing a world teeming with music life. Not all awaken to graze peacefully in the shadows. A eutaptor surveys its domain, every sense alert. A lone hadrosaur strays, the raptor stalks. Silent and patient in a burst, it strikes nature's ancient drama, raw and unforgiving. The hunt sustains life, shaping the balance of this prehistoric music world. On the plains, vast herds of Edmontosaurus graze their lives, a constant search for vegetation. These gentle giants shape the landscape as they feed, moving together for safety. Within the herd, mothers watch over young and older individuals, lead. Their strength lies in numbers and constant vigilance. Edmontosaurus are true ecosystem engineers, shaping their world as they roam. Music. As the season changes, dinosaurs turn to courtship and reproduction in a forest. Clearing a male protoceratops circles, a female displaying his frill and calling to impress her. Nearby, a Parasaurolophus uses his crest to send deep calls through the forest, attracting mates and warning rivals. Competition is fierce. Only the strongest and most impressive win the right to mate. After mating, a Myosaurus selects a safe nesting site, digs a depression, and lines it with vegetation before laying her eggs. Some parents guard their nests. Others leave them each, clutch holds. The next generation continuing the ancient cycle of life. Music. As the sun sets, shadows stretch, and the world cools. Triceratops herds graze one last time, gathering for safety as dusk falls. Smaller creatures seek shelter, while the sounds of day fade into the chorus of the night. Nocturnal predators emerge, their senses tuned for the darkness. Dinosaurs settle in clearings or forests, resting beneath a sky ablaze with stars. The Mesozoic world sleeps. Life continues, awaiting the music dawn for herbivores. Survival means sticking together. Herds offer protection. Many eyes spot danger, and a group can confuse or deter predators. Subtle signals raised. Heads' sudden stillness alert the group to threats when attacked. Herds bunch up, shielding the young and making it hard for predators to single out prey. Different species form different herd structures, from loose sauroid gatherings to tight like knit cereratopsian fronts. The power of the herd, safety, and numbers, a shared triumph over adversity. Herds help, but many herbivores are well armed. Ankylosaurus is a living tank, armored and wielding a bone-crushing tail club. Triceratops faces danger with sharp horns and a protective frill. Stegosaurus swings a spiked tail, the thagomizer as a deadly deterrent. These adaptation armor-horn spikes are not just for show. They're survival tools. Herbivores are far from helpless. They're fighters in a world of predators, predators like Tyrannosaurus rex. Hunt alone, relying on stealth and overwhelming force, a lone hunter stalks its prey. Waiting for the perfect moment to strike its bite can crush bone, ending the hunt quickly and minimizing risk. Some raptors use agility and sickle claws for ambush attacks. Striking with speed and precision, solitary hunting is risky. Every move must count. And failure means hunger. These predators are the ultimate individualists, shaping the ecosystem with their power. Fossilized footprints and nesting sites reveal dinosaur behavior. Trackways show herds moving together, adults and young side by side. Predator tracks following prey hint at ancient chases, nesting colonies like those of Maiasaura. Show social nesting and parental care. Trace fossils, footprints, nests, eggs, bring dinosaur lives into focus. These ancient clues let us see dinosaurs as living social animals. Not just bones. Dinosaur survival was shaped by a relentless arms race between predator and prey. Herbivores evolved armor horns and speed. Predators countered with power, stealth, and intelligence. Each adaptation sparked a new response, driving diversity and innovation. Hearing solitary hunting and cooperative tactics all emerged from this struggle. The balance of attack and defense created a dynamic, ever-changing ecosystem. Evolution, creativity is on full display in this ancient contest for survival. Music. The saga of a dinosaur's life began quietly inside a fragile egg. Nests, simple or elaborate, cradled hope and vulnerability within tiny embryos, grew, instincts forming, awaiting the spark of life. Hatching was a struggle, emerging into a vast, perilous world. Only the luckiest and strongest would see another sunrise. Music. Young dinosaurs learned by watching their parents. What to eat, how to stay safe, and the subtle cues of herd life protected within the herd. They practiced foraging play and social skills. Recognizing danger and responding quickly was the most vital lesson of all. Even in the safety of a nest, young dinosaurs faced fierce rivalry for food and survival. Only the strongest hatchlings thrived, while the weak often. Perished predators and environmental hazards were constant threats, from lurking coelurosaurs to sudden floods. Even the shadow of a giant predator could spell disaster for the young. Growing up meant surviving constant danger in a perilous world. From fragile hatchlings to resilient adults, dinosaurs faced rapid growth, shifting diets, and constant danger. Independence brought new challenges, finding food, avoiding predators, and surviving on their own. Only a few survived. But those who did became the next generation, continuing the cycle of life on the Cretaceous plains. Epic jewels shaped the fate of giants: Triceratops, horns, forward faces, the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex. The air crackles with tension, an ancient jewel about to unfold in a blur of speed and power. Predator and prey collide. This primal struggle, repeated for millions of years, drove evolution, each encounter shaping the destiny of these ancient titans. Not all dinosaurs roamed lush forests. Some survived in harsh deserts, lands of extreme heat, scarce water, and little vegetation. Only the hardiest creatures could endure these unforgiving landscapes. Survival demanded extraordinary adaptations, efficient water use, powerful jaws, and stamina. Dinosaurs conquered even these inhospitable corners, showcasing their incredible adaptability. Vast forests, unlike anything we see today, covered large parts of the Mesozoic Earth. Towering conifers, giant ferns, and cycads formed dense canopies. These ancient woodlands were realms of dappled light and deep shadow. The air was often humid, filled with the scent of damp earth and resin. Life here was abundant, but it presented its own set of challenges. Navigating the dense undergrowth required agility. Finding food often meant searching through layers of vegetation. The forests were alive with the whispers of hidden creatures, both predator and prey. Many smaller, more nimble dinosaurs thrived in these forested environments. Small ornithopods, perhaps like Hypsophodon, could dart through the trees. They browsed on low-lying ferns and shrubs. Their size and speed were their best defense against ambush. Predators, some feathered theropods like Compsognathus, hunted insects. Lizards and other small animals in the forest litter. Their keen eyesight and swift movements were perfectly suited to this cluttered world. The forest floor was a complex mosaic of opportunities and dangers, a world within a world. Larger dinosaurs also inhabited these woodlands. Herds of hadrosaurs might have moved through more open areas of the forest, feeding on the plentiful foliage. Their height allowed them to reach higher branches. The dense cover could also provide refuge from larger predators. However, the reduced visibility in forests also favored ambush hunters. A large theropod could lie in wait, concealed by the thick vegetation. Its attack would be sudden and devastating. The forest offered both sanctuary and peril, a constant duality for its inhabitants. The structure of the forest itself influenced dinosaur evolution. Long-necked sauropods, while perhaps preferring more open woodlands, could still penetrate forest edges to reach for the high canopy. Some armored dinosaurs, like the nodosaurids, were well suited to forest life. Their relatively narrow bodies allowed them to move through dense undergrowth, and their armor provided protection from surprise attacks. The forest was not just a backdrop, it was an active participant. It shaped the bodies and behaviors of the dinosaurs that called it home, a testament to nature's intricate weave. Music. It may seem surprising, but dinosaurs also thrived in polar regions during the Mesozoic. These areas were not always covered in thick ice sheets as they are today. However, they still experienced cool temperatures and, crucially, months of continuous winter darkness. This presented a unique set of challenges for life. How did these creatures survive the long, dark, and cold winters? Fossil discoveries in the places like Alaska and southern Australia have provided fascinating clues. They paint a picture of remarkable resilience and adaptation at the Earth's extremes. One key adaptation may have been some form of warm-bloodedness or endotherm. This would have allowed polar dinosaurs to remain active in cooler conditions. Smaller herbivores like Listaurus from Australia had large eye sockets. This suggests they were adapted to seeing in low-light conditions, something that would have been essential during the long polar night. They may have browsed on hardy vegetation like ferns and conifers that could survive the cool climate. Their ability to cope with prolonged darkness is a testament to their sensory adaptations. Some larger polar dinosaurs might have undertaken seasonal migrations. Herds of Edmontosaurus, for example, have been found in Alaska. They could have moved to lower latitudes during the harshest parts of winter, allowing them to follow food availability for those that remain survival. Depended on finding enough sustenance. Perhaps they fed on preserved vegetation or even hibernated. Though evidence for this is scarce, the polar winter was a severe test of endurance, pushing dinosaurs to their physiological limits. The presence of dinosaurs in these challenging polar environments highlights their incredible versatility. They were not solely creatures of warm tropical climates. They conquered a vast range of habitats across the globe. Polar predators, though perhaps fewer in number, also existed. They would have hunted the herbivores that braved these cold lands. These icy frontiers reveal a hidden chapter in the dinosaur story. It underscores their success as a group able to adapt and flourish even where conditions were far from ideal. A true mark of their global dominance. Dinosaurs faced a constant battle for survival against predators, harsh environments, and each other from scorching deserts to icy poles. Every habitat demanded adaptation. Their bodies, behaviors, and defenses evolved in response to relentless challenges. This ongoing struggle shaped their incredible diversity, driving their success for over 150 million years. Music. The world of the dinosaurs was in constant motion. Continents drifted, volcanoes erupted, and new lands formed. Pangaea split apart, creating new oceans and isolating dinosaur populations. Volcanic eruptions shaped landscapes and influenced climate. Dinosaurs adapted to these ever-changing environments. The stage of life was always shifting, setting the scene for new evolutionary music triumphs. The restless earth influenced not just the land but also the vast oceans. Global sea levels did not remain constant throughout the Mesozoic era. They rose and fell in great slow pulses. These changes were driven by complex interactions. Tectonic activity, such as the rate of seafloor spreading, played a major role. Changes in global climate, affecting the amount of water locked in ice, also contributed. These sea level fluctuations dramatically reshaped the world's coastlines. They altered the connections between land masses. Again and again, during periods of high sea levels, vast epicontinental seas submerged large areas of the continents. the western interior. Seaway, for instance, famously divided North America in two during the late Cretaceous Europe, became an archipelago of islands. These shallow, warm seas created new marine environments, but for terrestrial dinosaurs, they meant fragmentation. Previously continuous habitats were broken up. Populations became isolated on islands or separated landmasses. This isolation often accelerated evolutionary divergence, leading to new and distinct species. These shifting coastlines profoundly impacted the dinosaurs living near them. Coastal plains and estuaries would expand or contract with the changing tides of geological time. Dinosaurs adapted to these fluctuating environments. Some species became specialists of these coastal habitats, perhaps feeding on lush vegetation in marshlands. The presence of vast inland seas also influenced regional climates. They brought moisture. Further inland, potentially supporting richer ecosystems, but they also acted as barriers limiting the dispersal of many terrestrial species. The pulse of the oceans dictated new rules for life on land. Conversely, when global sea levels fell, new land emerged, land bridges reconnected areas that had been isolated for millions of years. This had dramatic consequences for dinosaur fauna. Animals could now migrate across these newly exposed corridors. North America and Asia, for example, were periodically linked by the Bering land bridge, South America. For long periods, an island continent occasionally connected with its neighbors. These faunal interchanges brought previously separated species into contact. This often sparked new waves of competition and predation, reshaping ecosystems once more. Music life in the Mesozoic was a relentless contest not just against the elements, but between living things. Dinosaurs faced constant competition for food, water, and space. This rivalry shaped their evolution, driving unique adaptations. Some, like sauropods, reached high for food. Others specialized in different resources. Carnivores, too, competed fiercely, each finding their own niche. The competitive landscape was always changing, reshaped by new arrivals. In the great game of life, dinosaurs thrived for over 150 million years, adapting to a world in constant change. Their survival was shaped by evolving bodies, behaviors, and remarkable diversity, from tiny feathered hunters to giant sauropods. Adaptation was their way of life. Their story is one of enduring. Music success. The Mesozoic era was a time of constant transformation. Continents shifted, volcanoes erupted, and sea levels rose and fell, reshaping the world. Dinosaurs adapted, evolving new forms and strategies to survive. But even their resilience had limits. As the Earth moved toward a final catastrophic act, the reign of the dinosaurs was drawing to a close. For millions of years, they had thrived, but now subtle shifts signaled change. The Earth grew. Restless, its ancient rhythms disturbed, ominous portents, gathered clouds, storms, trembling ground. The twilight of the dinosaurs approached as the great tapestry of the Mesozoic began to fray. As the Cretaceous period neared its end, a truly colossal geological event began in what is now India. The Earth's crust ruptured on an unimaginable scale. This was the beginning of the Deccan Traps. Eruptions, vast fissures opened, spewing out molten rock ash and gases. This was not a single volcanic event, but a series of immense outpourings. They continued for thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of years. Layer upon layer of basaltic lava flooded across the land, creating a volcanic province that would cover over 500,000 km. The sheer scale of these eruptions is honestly difficult to comprehend. Billions of tons of sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide were released. These gases billowed into the atmosphere, spreading across the globe. They had a profound and devastating impact on the Earth's climate system initially. Sulfur dioxide could cause short-term global cooling. It formed aerosols that reflected sunlight back into space. Acid rain would have poured down poisoning soils and waterways. The delicate balance of the world's ecosystems was severely disrupted by this fiery onslaught. Following the cooling, the massive release of carbon dioxide had the opposite effect. This potent greenhouse gas trapped heat, leading to significant global warming temperatures. Soared further, stressing plant and animal life. Ocean chemistry was altered, affecting marine organisms profoundly. Vegetation patterns across the globe shifted in response to these climatic upheavals. Some plants thrived, others withered and died for the dinosaurs. This meant their food sources became unreliable. Their habitats were changing rapidly, becoming less hospitable, less predictable. The Deccan traps were a slow, burning catastrophe, a planetary fever. Their effects were not instantaneous, like an asteroid impact, but they created a chronically stressed environment across the globe. This long period of volcanic turmoil weakened ecosystems. It likely contributed to a gradual decline in biodiversity. Many species of dinosaurs may have already been struggling. Their resilience was being tested to its absolute limits. The Earth was becoming a more hostile place even before the final blow fell. This relentless volcanic assault was a crucial part of their final days. The late Cretaceous world was in chaos. Volcanic eruptions, wild climate swings, and rising and falling seas made life unpredictable. Habitat shrank, food grew scarce, and dinosaur populations dwindled. The once vibrant world faded, setting the stage for extinction. Life was already struggling before the final music catastrophe. Then the unimaginable happened, a cataclysmic event. A colossal asteroid struck Earth with the force of billions of atomic bombs. The impact site, now the Chicxulub crater, changed the world forever. Fire, darkness, and devastation followed sunlight. Vanished. Temperatures plummeted and ecosystems collapsed. The dinosaurs, for all their power, could not withstand it. The KPG extinction ended the age of reptiles, ushering in a new era. Music for over 150 million years, Earth was ruled. Fooled by dinosaurs, giant sauropods, fierce predators, and agile raptors thriving in vibrant prehistoric landscapes. Their world was ancient, diverse, and seemingly unshakable. But as they went about their lives, a cosmic threat approached, destined to end the reign of these magnificent giants forever. Music, for millions of years, dinosaurs ruled the Earth, until one fateful day changed everything. From the depths of space, a colossal asteroid hurtled toward our planet, unseen and unstoppable. In a single fiery moment, their world ended, plunging the age of giants into darkness and reshaping life forever. 66 million years ago, Earth was a warm, vibrant world. Lush forests stretched to the poles, no ice caps in sight. Dinosaurs thrived in diverse landscapes, rivers, mountains, and inland seas. Flowering plants flourished, insects buzzed, and early birds called. This was the dinosaurs' paradise. a planet teeming with life, color, and sound within this vibrant Cretaceous world. Dinosaurs lived out their complex lives each day, a cycle of survival, interaction, and instinct. Imagine a herd of hadrosaurs, the duck-billed dinosaurs moving gracefully through a sun-dappled forest. They browsed on low-lying vegetation, their specialized teeth grinding tough plant material, ever watchful. For danger, youngsters might stay close to their mothers, learning the ways of the herd, their small calls punctuating the air. These gentle giants were a common sight, their presence shaping the vegetation around them. Their days were spent foraging, socializing within their large groups, and migrating across familiar territories in search of fresh food and water, a constant rhythmic procession elsewhere. A mighty Tyrannosaurus Rex, the king of predators, might be on the prowl. Its massive frame moved with a surprising stealth for its size, its keen eyes scanning for any sign of weakness in potential prey. Perhaps it stalked a lone Edmontosaurus that had strayed from its herd, or perhaps it scavenged a recent kill. The T-Rex's day was one of calculated energy expenditure, a balance between the immense power needed for a hunt and the necessity of conserving that energy. Its interactions were often solitary, or perhaps with a mate. Its territory fiercely defended. The shadow of this apex predator loomed large, a critical component of the ecological balance ensuring only the fittest survived. Smaller dramas unfolded constantly in the undergrowth, and along the waterways, packs of agile dramas. The raptors, famed for their intelligence and sickle-shaped claws, might coordinate a hunt for smaller ornithopods or mammals. Their quick movements and sharp senses made them formidable hunters, a blur of feathers and teeth. In the skies above pterosaurs, with their leathery wings soared on thermal currents. Some fishing. Over the inland seas, others, perhaps, scouting for carry. These flying reptiles, with their diverse shapes and sizes, filled an aerial niche that birds were only beginning to explore more fully. Every creature, large or small, played its part in the intricate web of Cretaceous life. Even the seemingly mundane moments were part of this grand tapestry. A heavily armored Ankylosaurus, like a living fortress, ambled slowly through the ferns, its clubbed tail a potent defense against any attacker. Herds of Triceratops, with their impressive frills and horns, might gather at a watering hole, their interactions governed by complex social hierarchies. Young dinosaurs hatched from eggs, vulnerable and dependent, relying on parental care that varied greatly. Between species, life was a continuous stream of feeding, growing, avoiding danger, and seeking opportunities to reproduce, a timeless pattern enacted daily across the dinosaur-dominated planet. The world was stable, their routines established over millions of music. Here's the sheer scale of dinosaur life during the late Cretaceous is almost beyond our modern comprehension. These were not just a few scattered species, they were an incredibly diverse group that had dominated terrestrial ecosystems for over 150 million years, from the Arctic to the nascent Antarctic continent, from towering forests to arid plains. Dinosaurs were the undisputed rulers. Their biomass, the total weight of all dinosaurs living at the time, would have been staggering, far exceeding that of mammals. Today, they were the architects of their environment, their grazing patterns, shaping plant communities, their predatory actions, driving evolutionary adaptations in their prey. This was truly their planet, an empire built of flesh and bone. Their sizes ranged from chicken-sized comps, darting through the underbrush, to the colossal Alamosaurus, a sauropod whose vertebrae were larger than a human. This incredible diversity in form and function allowed them to exploit almost every conceivable terrestrial ecological niche. Some were built for speed, others for power. Some were solitary hunters. Others lived in vast, complex herds. There were dinosaurs with elaborate crests, for display, thick armor, for defense, and specialized diets, ranging from tough cycads to soft aquatic plants, insects, and of course other dinosaurs. This evolutionary richness was a testament to their success, a long story of adaptation and proliferation across a changing world. Yet for all their incredible success and their long, seemingly unshakable reign, these magnificent creatures were entirely oblivious. They had no concept of the cosmos beyond the sun, moon, and stars that wheeled across their skies. They could not have known about the silent, indifferent expanse of space, nor the celestial bodies that moved within it. The idea of a threat from beyond their world was unimaginable, completely outside the realm of their evolved senses and instincts, which were honed for terrestrial dangers. Their lives were focused on the immediate finding food, avoiding predators, raising their young, and navigating the complex social structures of their kind. The sky above was just a ceiling to their world, not a source of ultimate peril, and so, as the final days of the Cretaceous period dawned, the dinosaurs continued their ancient routines. A young tyrannosaur might have been learning to hunt, its instincts slowly sharpening a mother. Maiasaura might have been diligently tending her nest, ensuring the safety of her precious eggs. Huge herds of Ceratopsians moved across the plains like living tides, their heavy footfalls a familiar sound. The intricate dance of life perfected over eons proceeded without a hint of the impending cosmic interruption. Their complete dominance and their profound unawareness created a stark, dramatic contrast, a thriving world on the very edge of an unprecedented, instantaneous transformation, an end they could never have foreseen. The asteroid's final plunge was a terrifying spectacle, a fiery mountain, hurtling through Earth's atmosphere, igniting the sky with a blinding, unnatural sun. In seconds, it struck the ancient sea near the Yucatan, releasing energy beyond all nuclear weapons combined. The impact vaporized rock and water, unleashing a cataclysm that would end the age of dinosaurs forever. In an instant, a blinding flash, brighter than 1,000 suns, erupted as the asteroid struck Earth, unleashing unimaginable energy. The impact vaporized everything at ground zero, gouging out the vast Chicks crater and hurling molten rocks skyward. A shockwave flattened forests and life for thousands of kilometers, while a searing heat pulse ignited global firestorms. In that moment, the world was forever changed. Annihilation on a planetary scale. In moments after the impact, Earth was plunged into chaos. The sky darkened as ash and molten rock rained down, igniting wildfires and choking the air. Mega tsunamis scoured coastlines, while earthquakes and volcanic eruptions shook the planet. The sun vanished behind shroud of smoke temperature swung wildly, and a deadly night fell for dinosaurs. And all life, the struggle for survival, had reached its most desperate phase. The asteroid impact unleashed a global catastrophe. Superheated debris rained down, igniting firestorms across continents. The sky became a furnace, scorching the land and sparking wildfires everywhere. Furious storms and acid rain followed, poisoning air and water. Earth's atmosphere transformed, leaving a world shrouded in smoke and chaos. As firestorms raged, vast clouds of soot and dust choked the skies, plunging Earth into darkness. Sunlight vanished, replaced by a cold, unending night. Impact winter had begun. Temperatures plummeted by over 25 degrees C, freezing even tropical regions. Photosynthesis stopped dead, plants withered, starved of light and warmth. The green world turned gray, its life force extinguished beneath the sunless sky. Herbivorous dinosaurs, deprived of food, began to starve. Carnivores soon followed, their prey gone, their world. Collapsing, the intricate food web unraveled, millions of years of evolution undone in months. Oceans cooled, their surfaces chilled, adding to the global crisis. The once vibrant Cretaceous world became a barren wasteland. Starvation and cold claimed survivors one by one. The age of dinosaurs was ending. Not with a bang, but with a suffocating frozen silence. Life on Earth teetered on the brink, shrouded in music darkness. The impact pollution unleashed a chemical onslaught. Acid rain poured from toxic skies. Sulfur and nitrogen, compounds mixed with water, creating corrosive rains that stripped nutrients from soil and poisoned lakes and rivers. Surviving plants, already weakened, were burned and battered. Their recovery, stunted freshwater life, perished as habitats turned acidic and deadly. The world's oceans, too absorbed acid and carbon dioxide, rapidly dropping and pH shelf building. Plankton and corals dissolved, collapsing the base of the marine food web. Marine reptiles and fish starved as their microscopic food vanished. Surface waters became deserts. Even the deep sea felt the impact. The vibrant Cretaceous oceans faded into lifelessness. Acid rain and ocean acidification pushed countless species over the edge. Earth was now not just dark and cold, but toxic, land and the alike, transformed into graveyards. The mass extinction deepened, leaving only the hardiest survivors. For the dinosaurs that survived the initial blast, a nightmare world awaited. The sky was a perpetual twilight, the air thick with ash and poison. Survivors stumbled through ruined landscapes, disoriented and desperate. Some small, burrowing creatures found brief refuge underground. Larger dinosaurs with massive food needs faced starvation. From the start, familiar landmarks vanished beneath debris. Navigation became perilous. Water was scarce and often toxic. Food nearly non-existent. Herbivores starved, carnivores found little prey. Every day was a struggle for shelter, water and a scrap of food. The world was unrecognizable. Hostile alien wasteland. Instincts honed over eons were useless in this new reality. Desperation and confusion reigned as extinction closed in. The end was no sudden event, but a slow, relentless. Music unraveling. Weeks turned to months. The darkness and cold never lifted. Soot and dust blocked the sun, freezing the planet. Dinosaurs huddled for warmth, but the cold was merciless. Starvation swept through herds. Even predators found nothing to hunt. Social bonds shattered as survival instincts took over. Silence replaced the once thunderous world calls, and roars faded away. Acid rain continued to poison. Water and soil compounding the misery. Disease and toxins struck weakened survivors each day. Fewer dinosaurs remained, their numbers dwindling to nothing. The extinction was not dramatic, but a slow, grinding attrition. The mighty had fallen, their footsteps now only echoes in the frozen wasteland. The age of dinosaurs faded into music darkness. Months, even years passed under the shadow of impact. Winter. Only a few dinosaurs lingered in isolated refuges, clinging to life. Resources vanished. The cold and darkness were unrelenting. Picture a lone triceratops, gaunt and searching for a final green shoot. Or a weakened tyrannosaurus, its roar silenced by hunger and cold. The last of their kind faded. Quietly unmarked and unseen, the world that once belonged to them was now empty and silent. Their reign ended not with a cataclysmic finale, but with a whisper. The line of giants stretching back millions of years was broken. Yet in the silence, a new story was beginning. The extinction of dinosaurs cleared the way for new life among the survivors. A feathered lineage endured. The legacy of dinosaurs would take flight, soaring into a new music era. The reign of the dinosaurs ended in a sudden, catastrophic asteroid impact, plunging Earth into darkness and silence. Yet from the ashes, life endured slowly. Sunlight returned, plants sprouted, and survivors emerged. The end of one era paved the way for another, a world reborn, ready for new evolutionary stories to unfold when the asteroid struck. Most dinosaurs vanished, but some survived, small, feathered avian dinosaurs. The birds, their feathers, flight, and adaptability let them endure Earth's darkest hour. Birds are living dinosaurs. Their legacy sources on in every song and every sky.